terrorist organization has steadfastly refused every proposal and deadline they've been presented over the past few weeks, including a bridge proposal to extend the ceasefire beyond Ramadan and Passover, to allow time to negotiate a framework for a permanent ceasefire. Hamas refused this offer, preferring still to hold hostages captive and hide amongst the people of Gaza, using them as human shields. It is the people of Gaza who will suffer further because of Hamas's disregard for human life. Madam President, in this context, I want to respond to the allegation of indiscriminate attacks by the IDF. The IDF is striking Hamas positions. It is well known that Hamas continues to use civilian infrastructure as launching pads, and the United States condemns this practice, as should others. President Trump has made clear that Hamas must release the hostages immediately or pay a high price, and we support Israel in its next steps. Hamas must release the hostages it abducted more than 17 months ago.
When the delegation of Algeria and Somalia had asked for the briefing today to discuss the deteriorating humanitarian situation in Gaza, they probably could not have thought that on the eve of the meeting, the situation would worsen even further and all ceasefire agreements will basically have come to naught. In the evening, on the 18th of March, Israeli aviation resumed airstrikes against Gaza, which resulted in new victims. We have information of more than 400 people dead and that the IDF is preparing for a land operation in the Gaza Strip. This way, the ceasefire regime was violated and the tragedy of Palestinian civilians has taken on a new dimension. This tragedy has been unfolding in front of our very eyes for a year and a half. And in the course of the military operation by Israel, there's basically nothing left of the Gaza Strip except for the smoldering ruins, and the number of Gaza civilians who have died is more than 48,000. The humanitarian crisis in the Gaza Strip has become truly biblical in nature, and this is supported by the assessments today of the UN humanitarians.
Гуманитарный кризис в анклаве приобрел поистине библейские масштабы, что подтверждают и представленные сегодня оценки Гумхрыла ООН. По гуманитарным вопросам Тома Флетчера за обстоятельный доклад.
Under the current circumstances, the Security Council has to do everything possible to make sure that there is a resumption of the ceasefire as quickly as possible and that there is a resumption of the implementation of the agreement between Israel and Hamas. We should not repeat the mistakes of before. The number of Gazans who have died over the recent time is so high because the Security Council wasn't able to make an earlier decision on the ceasefire. And this is a very bitter lesson that the Security Council members should learn and not repeat, because no political considerations can justify such a delay, which resulted in the lives lost for such a high number of people.
Кто ждет возвращения домой удерживаемых в секторе заложников.
We call on the Israeli authorities to immediately lift the restrictions and to end the restrictions on humanitarian action in the entire OPT, including the Gaza Strip and the West Bank.